To increase trade ties with the Gulf states will be further enhanced during President Jacob Zuma's state visit to Qatar. The president, who's being accompanied by a high-level government delegation, has arrived in the capital, Doha. About 6,000 South African expatriates work in various sectors in the oil-rich state. It's one of South Africa's largest trading partners in the Middle East. Trade between the two countries is valued at about 7 billion rand. Most of South Africa's investments in Qatar are in the petrochemical-related sectors. Currently, Sasol is a leading investor in the development of the Qatari gas reserves. So during President Zuma's visit, ministers and officials of the two countries will engage in talks about increasing cooperation in areas such as water, energy, construction, agriculture, and infrastructure development. All right, well, let's go now to Qatar. Our presidential reporter, Mzwandile Mbeje, is live from Doha. Mzwa, good afternoon to you. Trade between the two countries has definitely been on the increase. How significant is this visit and what's behind it?
Indeed, trade is definitely on the spotlight, and it must be looked at in the context of the president visiting the Gulf region. You know that, Natasha, this is the fourth country in 3 months that President Jacob Zuma is visiting these countries in the region. The logic behind it, you'd remember that in the past few months or a year, if I may say, there has been a slump or a drop in oil prices, and these countries here are heavily reliant on petroleum products. So they are being forced now to look elsewhere for other markets. And a country like South Africa, which is relatively well developed insofar as diversifying the economy is concerned, so is one of the countries that countries like Qatar are looking at. So the president is here to make sure that some of those issues that the countries in the Gulf states, like the aspects that we have in mining, are really tapped into. You have said petroleum, Sasol is quite a leading investor here. And of course, there is also a number of other South Africans who apply their trade here. I mean, we've seen some of the outlets like Nando's doing bristle business in Qatar. So you can see that if these two countries really put their hands together and really look into what can be done to promote investments between the two, there will be some way that can be achieved in this regard.
All right, Mzwa, if we look at our political and our economic relations with Qatar, they're quite diverse. I did mention some of them in the intro. Just take us through some of these, Mzwa, and the importance of these.
It's very important. One of the things you must know about Qatar, it's going to be one of the first countries in this region to host a Soccer World Cup in 2022. You know, Natasha, that in 2010, in the African continent, we were the first country to host that World Cup. So it's very important that they share that kind of experience, that kind of expectation. We wanted to make our World Cup the most successful World Cup, and here I can tell you they are very proud of that. They are saying they want to make this World Cup one of the most successful World Cup. So that basically extends to issues in the main of construction, the kind of capacity and the expertise that we have in construction, constructing the stadia around the country, and then they are busy with that process here. So you can see that kind of cooperation will come in very, very handy here. And I mean, you go all over the country, and then construction is already going up, and then they are promising us that this will be a quite unique World Cup. And coming with South Africa coming here, which also had those challenges, will we be able, being a third world country, but we did indeed manage to have it, and then they are having those challenges. You remember one of the challenges they were having was the weather here. You know, in summer, it's quite hot. I mean, even now, as I'm speaking to you, it's in the 40s, so it wouldn't be possible. That's why it was shifted to December. So, but the point I'm trying to make, Natasha, is that there are a number of areas of cooperation in the gas sector, in the construction sector, and of course in the sharing of expertise with regards to the Soccer World Cup as we did hold it in 2010.
All right, Mzwai, thank you very much for that update. Wandile Mbeje, live from Doha in Qatar, accompanying that presidential state visit. Well, back